A new flock of lawmakers at the state's capitol, but don't call this person a freshman lawmaker.
Words are important. Semantics are important.
Now that weed is legal, what about those who got busted for pot? 10,000 people may think this next move by Denver's mayor is dope. And the fate of a holiday song that some people find offensive on local radio. Baby, it's cold outside. Stay in, because all of that and more is next. Big surprise tonight. Or not really. Turns out the federal government does not like Denver's plans for a safe injection site. The member of city council who pushed for this idea has long said if the feds decide to intervene, he'd deal with it then. Well, today is then. Here's our Anusha Roy.
The drug problem isn't shy about showing itself. From shooting up outside a library, people overdosing inside a bookstore bathroom on Broadway, to more than 1,000 people dying from overdosing in Colorado last year. The feds aren't shy either about putting their foot down. After the Denver City Council passed an ordinance for a safe injection site, the idea is to set up a place where people can use drugs like heroin and meth with trained staff nearby to help if they overdose instead of in public. Today, the Colorado U.S. Attorney's Office and DEA said that would be illegal under federal law and could result in a $250,000 fine and even 20 years in jail. And after comparing safe injection sites to crack houses that could bring in more crime, they wrote they want to be clear. They aren't attacking anyone, trying to mend Denver's drug problem.
This is not a crack house. And that terminology, quite frankly, is offensive. We are talking about a safe place for people who are in the depths of their addiction to use and then hopefully move into recovery.
The state still has to decide if it's going to waive a nuisance ordinance so that a supervised injection site wouldn't get in trouble for having drugs on their property. Democratic State Representative Leslie Herod said the pushback from the feds today, it doesn't surprise her, and it isn't stopping her. She's still working on a bill to be introduced during the next legislative session that starts next month.
We have seen that in our cannabis industry that is booming right now in Colorado.
Okay, so on that note, right, we've seen this battle before when Colorado was legalizing marijuana. We took some questions to a law professor from DU who said back then the feds did do something similar, saying it's illegal under federal law, people are going to get in trouble. They were hearing that under both the Obama and Trump administration, but legalization moved ahead anyway, so the question is, this time around, will the feds be acting differently when it comes to safe injection sites if it moves forward in all these cities?
Especially since this current Colorado U.S. attorney is coming from the Trump administration.
Yeah.
It could be different.
Yeah, it was nominated in June and has been falling in line with the feds as well, saying that it is illegal, and they were addressing several cities across the country that are considering a similar program.
Right, good report. Thank you, Anusha. They were guilty at the time, but then Colorado legalized weed. Thousands of people in Colorado have low-level pot convictions that are no longer considered crimes. Two cities, Denver and Boulder, are working to get rid of those convictions. In Denver, there are more than 10,000 cases. In Boulder, at least 4,000 since 2008. Boulder will tackle those cases first and eventually review all criminal convictions for low-level pot crimes.
So to be able to go back and work with the court system and work with the staff of this office to relieve people of that burden and that consequence is something we're really excited about.
The Boulder County District Attorney is holding two events next month, January 10th and January 15th. People who think they might be eligible are invited to speak with staff about their case. If your case qualifies, the DA's office says it will start working on it. It is devastating to lose a home in a fire. For 160 people in Littleton, they can never go back to the Windermere apartment complex. Arapahoe County has set up a fund to help them pay for security deposits and other basic needs. Our Katie Eastman spoke with one woman who was living in a hotel this week. And next week, she's not sure what she's going to do.
4 months ago, this was not the holiday Pamela Puterbaugh was hoping for.
I had been really looking forward to decorating my home for Christmas.
Instead, a tiny tree and nativity scene in a hotel room will have to do.
I miss my kettle.
Most things are missing from Pamela's life as she waits to be allowed back into her apartment to gather her belongings. She's been warned they will be contaminated with smoke.
I don't have a new address just yet.
So the calls begin to start a new life.
I am calling you because, unfortunately, I've been displaced by a fire.
She does all this with a smile, reminders on sticky notes that she can make each day a good one in the toughest of situations.
I didn't get to choose going through the fire, but I do get to choose what I do with it and how I move forward.
Pamela does get frustrated, angry that she and many other residents never heard a fire alarm in their homes. She helped bang on doors to get people out, something she couldn't have done just 2 months ago.
Not only was I trapped in my home, but really trapped in a body that wasn't working.
That might be why Pamela manages to stay smiling. After months of physical therapy, she can walk now, and walking helped her warn her neighbors of the fire.
I just feel so blessed. I mean, it's hard, but we'll get through it, and I feel blessed.
So even as she makes lists of all the things she needs, she remembers the things she has. Today she'll walk, tomorrow she'll hike. For Next, I'm Katie Eastman.
Littleton police say a resident believes the same man killed in the fire asked her to pull a fire extinguisher off the wall for him. When police entered the apartment where the fire started, they say they saw what appeared to be that extinguisher in the living room and the man dead on the floor. What do a Subway restaurant owner and a high school special education teacher know about making state laws? Time for lawmaker boot camp at the state capitol. As politics guy Marshall Zellinger found out, some of them are brand new to the world of politics.
The classes have unconventional names. Under the Dome, You've Got Mail, How to Respond to Open Records Requests, and the riveting Understanding the State Budget.
I'm learning it. It's trial by fire here, for sure.
Democratic Representative-elect Bree Buenteo is a special education teacher at Pueblo East. This week, the teacher became the student.
Now I've spent 3 hours on fiscal note training and bill drafting. Oh, I'm sitting there color coding and doodling and like accessing every single element of my pedagogical training. Let's be clear here. Yeah, it's the struggle's it's very real.
Now I'm being thrown into the Shark Tank and having to learn how politics works.
Republican Senator-elect Rob Woodward from Loveland is also learning a new trade.
I'm a regular guy who probably makes your sandwich on the weekends.
Woodward owns Subway restaurants in northern Colorado, Wyoming, and Nebraska.
You know, my favorite is a steak and bacon, actually. You got to add the bacon to put it over the top.
Now he'll help be responsible for the state's bacon. You know, the money we spend.
No matter what the topic is, we've got an expert in law and criminal justice and healthcare, small business, bringing real people together to make laws. I think we're better as a group thinking of solutions.
Anybody with a lick of common sense or humility realizes that you're always learning.
I feel like I belong already.
New member orientation continues in 2 weeks, and the new members are already creating change. Democratic Representative-elect Sonia Yaquez Lewis does not want to be called a freshman lawmaker.
Words are important. Semantics are important. And by using the term first year, it just is more applicable across our caucus.
There are 16 new House Democrats, and the leadership is on board with using the term first year, Jeremy, instead of freshman.
It's because the word freshman contains the word man. I'm going to read a quick comment from one of my Twitter followers. He says, I want to be taken seriously as a lawmaker, so I'm going to argue the semantics of all of this. Speaking of semantics, and when they're sworn in, that's next month, right?
Yeah, January. Leave that to Twitter, by the way. January 4th is when lawmakers start. The representative-elect, senator-elect, goes away on January 4th.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Marshall. Time now for a recommendation. This is where we tell you about something, anything that isn't ours, but is worth your time. This one comes from our friends at Colorado Public Radio. They break down why Denver streets are the way they are, like downtown. The streets go in one direction, and then suddenly outside of downtown, they go in another direction. Weird, right? The article explains why that is. It also talks about streets named after Native American tribes, too, and how people back in the day didn't really like that. You can find the link on our Facebook page. I like random things. I like Denver. I like history. Tonight, we continue with random Denver history. Take this. The story in the Rocky Mountain News appeared exactly 100 years ago today. This one caught my eye. December 4th, 1918. A 7-year-old newsboy took a car on a joyride throughout Denver. The article says he zigzagged for a few miles, causing hundreds of people to flee and scatter along Broadway. The report actually used the words fast and furious. A police officer stopped the boy, at First and Broadway. First and Broadway. Now, that sounds familiar. Of course it does. 100 years later, this corner, First and Broadway, continues to experience car chaos. We just reported this past week a car crashed into a Denver restaurant at this corner for the third time this year. The Hornet just can't catch a break. Okay, maybe that's a bad choice of words here. History repeats itself in a way, and of course, those newsboys always making a scene. A historic Denver building just hit the market as a multi-million-dollar home in disguise.
From the front, you have absolutely no idea what's back here.
A postal worker from Broomfield proves she's one of the good ones and likely saved a life. And RTD explains why some bus stops have benches and others don't. Next.
Pete.
Just being here is something rare.
No.
For 5-year-old Marin Stecken. This is kindergarten at the school in Creed. This is a normal part of life.
So do you mind answering some questions for them?
Marin's mom, Honey Stecken, wasn't sure she'd get to. Genetic testing revealed Marin had a rare metabolic disease.
The moment those words came out, propionic acidemia, I mean, it was the worst case scenario.
It could make you very, very, very sick.
So the median lifespan is 5.
Under a strict diet, Marin can attend school, due in large part to a medicine that stabilizes her bodily functions.
Come on.
But just being here creates something rare.
It's kind of like, wow, I can picture my kid, she's going to go to school and you're very excited. But then there's this.
The medicine causes a chemical reaction in Marin's body, leaving her with a problem that sounds funny.
It just smells almost like rotten fish.
But is very serious.
My little girl is walking around smelling so bad that people do not want to be around her.
After years of frustration, Honey found this webpage and a product meant for feminine hygiene that prevents the chemical reactions which causes the odors. Now Marin can play with her classmates.
Guys, come here and play on it!
Now Marin can get dragged around the floor.
Like all those images in my mind of not being asked to prom or maybe not having friends.
Now Marin's scent is just like any other kid's. Just being here, turning something rare into someone normal.
It will not be her problem. It's not her problem anymore.
People are outside. People are active in this state. And I think by osmosis, people like sports. People like athletics. It's just a cool place to be.
After a local radio station stopped playing a holiday song, I didn't do a very good job explaining something. Some of you contacted us asking why some people take issue with that song, Baby It's Cold Outside. Well, here it is. Some people feel the male character in the song is too pushy and creepy with his date. Those who don't like the song point to the lyric sang by the female character who asked the question, say, what's in this drink? That implies the drink may be spiked with something. Local radio station Cozy 101 did a poll about the song. Overwhelmingly, after 15,000 votes, the listeners want the song back. So now, the song is back. Our next question comes from a viewer named Craig. He saw a plastic lawn chair beside a bus stop near Tower and Hamden in Aurora and wonders, how does RTD determine which bus stops get benches? Yeah, good question, Craig. RTD tells us they provide benches at their park and rides, stations, and larger facilities, but they do not typically install benches at roadside bus stops. Instead, these benches are provided by local agencies through advertising vendors. The city and county of Denver does it a little differently. They allow private advertising vendors to install shelters and kiosks within RTD's right-of-way. In return, the vendor also has to install roadside benches at other RTD bus stops. What other questions do you want us to answer? Email us at next@9news.com, or you can get our attention with the hashtag HeyNext.
Plenty of of sunshine across the Denver metro area today, but this evening, right after sunset, you can start to see those darker skies moving in. This is a look Bill Linfield captured of grays and tories. Nice to see some snowfall out there. Tonight, it will be a cold one. Temperatures are going to be down to about 12 degrees. We'll look at mostly clear skies, light winds. I know it has been a little gusty up in the foothills, so those should be simmering down within the next hour or two. Teens overnight across the eastern plains, sub-zero in Leadville, Steamboat over to Gunnison 2, and 0 in Alamosa. On East Street Alpha 9, we've been watching the clouds pushing in ahead of our next storm system. It's churning out to the west, and that snowfall slowly migrating to the east, and it will be up in the mountains overnight into tomorrow morning. There it is, right there along I-70 around 7 a.m. You wake up to a few clouds here in Denver, and then by late tomorrow evening, maybe a few isolated snow showers going in Larimer and Weld County. Shouldn't amount to much. Tomorrow, temperatures a couple of degrees warmer than today. We'll be back to the low 40s. 40s for the eastern plains with 20s and 30s up in the mountains. You'll notice another little cool off with maybe a quick little flurry coming our way on Thursday at 32. 40s on Friday, and then all eyes on the weekend and beyond. Jeremy, temperatures starting to warm up just fine.
Sunday looks great. Thank you, Danielle. This next story isn't about a police officer in trouble, a teacher who got caught cheating, or a nurse stealing drugs. No, this next story is about a public servant doing the right thing. You know, like 99% of them do every day and never make the news. They are the good ones, and they're almost always all good ones. A U.S. Postal Service mail carrier from Broomfield is who we're recognizing today. Last month, Amy Becerra noticed an elderly man on her route was not checking his mail, so she checked in on him. His name is John Zoller. He'd been suffering with severe dehydration and had fallen several times and was bleeding. Becerra got him medical help. An ER doctor says he would have not survived much longer. Becerra will be reunited with Zoller at a Westminster rehab facility tomorrow. In Denver's Jefferson Park neighborhood, an old silent movie theater has been converted into a home, and it's for sale.
A home that was a theater, I think, deserves a theater. So this is where that would be.
When the sidewalk ends with this, someone has crossed a line, and what we call a bike suspended in neatly stacked firewood. Next.
Like lightning on the Great Plains, a spark ignites the imagination of a young 4-H member named Ryan. As a teenager, Ryan explores the wonders of nature. As a young man, he experiments, discovering new possibilities. As a scientist, Ryan uses a new technology to detect an invisible tumor in a little girl's eye. The 4-H commitment of fostering 1 million new scientists and engineers is being embraced by companies and universities around the country. With their help, 4-H is growing the next generation of great thinkers like Ryan. 4-H, 1 million new scientists, 1 million new ideas.
From Maine to Maui, thousands of high school students across the country are getting in on the action by volunteering in their communities.
It's great helping others, and it feels good too. Are you in? Whoa!
Anyone can do it. All it takes is a little time. Are you in?
Action teams of high school students are joining Volunteers of America and Major League Baseball players to help train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
It's easy to start an action team at your school, so you too can get in on the action.
Are you in? Get in on the action at actionteam.org.
Hey, Denver, what happens when the most daring team in daytime takes on trending stories live? Anything and everything.
I am pro sex workers. You're crazy. I said it.
You are totally off base here. I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you. Denver, join the live conversation.
With the DBL Nation.
Daily Blast Live, the talk of what's trending. Weekdays at 1 on 9 News.
Weeknights on MeTV. Watch MASH at 6, Andy at 7, and Gomer Pyle at 8. You can find MeTV on Broadcast Channel 20.2 and on these and other providers.
Even professional drivers are not immune to being told by a next viewer, "You've crossed a line." A U.S. Postal Service driver appears to be the offender this time. A next viewer named Cheryl took pictures Sunday of a Postal Service van parked in an odd place. She says it blocked the sidewalk outside a restaurant for at least 15 minutes, forcing a disabled person with her to find a different way to their car. Come on. She says there were plenty of parking spaces open, big enough for that van. It just would have meant the driver had to walk a little further, she says. If you see parking jobs worse than this, email pictures to next@9news.com or get our attention with the hashtag HeyNext. A unique home just hit the market in North Denver. In 1926, it was the Granada Theater showing silent films. The owner chose to reuse it instead of tearing it down. Photojournalist Tom Cole stopped by to check it out.
You walk in and you have no idea what to expect. It's a really interesting place. The original entrance of the building had box office on either side and concessions.
Our client was looking for a building he could convert into a custom home that had a industrial use.
It looks like an old theater. It was a silent movie theater built in 1926. It had an orchestra pit in it. Over the years, different community theater organizations have used it. It had several different iterations in its lifetime as a theater. It's an original structure in Denver. It is an adaptive reuse of a building. So you take a warehouse or a theater or a church or something like that, and when it's run its useful life, you turn it into something else that's really, really interesting, but you keep the original building.
Why do you think he didn't tear it down?
He wanted a property that was something old that he could make into something new. He didn't want a new house. He had a new house. He's done it, been there, done that. He wanted something that you could retrofit a house into that was never meant to be a house in the first place. You know, it was about the project for him just as much as it was about having someplace to live. It's going to take a very, very special buyer, somebody who likes to have something really incredible, but also be able to keep it very, very private.
All right, that's pretty cool. The home comes with an underground 8-car garage, a large outdoor patio, and an 80-inch TV. You'd think it'd come with a big projection theater thing or something. The asking price of this property, just shy of $4 million. No problem. A bicycle parked within a wall, I gotta look over here. A bicycle parked within a wall of firewood is the most Colorado thing we saw today, and an update to a sign we showed you a few weeks ago. That's coming up next.
Frightening things in the news lately, familiar things for many Coloradans. Check in with your family and friends. If you or someone you know needs mental health support or emotional help, it's available right this second. A real person ready to provide real problem solving. Call or text Colorado Crisis Services. Let's take care of ourselves and each other.
Broncos tonight, Sunday nights at 10:35 on 9 News.
How you doing, sweetheart?
If anyone knows,
there she goes,
the difference between work and duty.
I know you're asking for.
Gene Jiggets has known ever since he met his wife, Mary.
Mary is a keeper.
He kept her through a life of secrets. In 1951, Jiggets was assigned to an elite group of 28 men working on something they called the hydrogen bomb. And now that his work is done, it is time for his duty. assisting his 93-year-old wife
in entering into dementia,
fighting a disease that's taking her mind.
I said, one thing that I will pledge that I will never do as long as I'm able to assist. I will never put you in a home.
Because she is home.
We are Broncos.
I'm a Broncos fan because we got the best team in the NFL.
My whole life I've been a Broncos fan.
Denver till we die. We bring the thunder. Bronco fans are the best.
It's probably the most exciting thing that you could ever feel.
They're the best team in the league, obviously. We got the best fans. The whole stadium shakes and everybody's jumping around and rooting and hollering. There's nothing like this crowd.
Broncos fans, we always stay loyal.
We're looking forward to another Super Bowl win. This is Bronco country. We bleed orange and blue.
When your curiosity needs answers, turn to the all-new TV network, Quest. Featuring the most scientific, scary, entertaining, and thrilling programs available on television. Like Modern Marvels and Storm Chasers. Stay tuned for your next adventure on Channel 9.5, and let's explore.
Time now for the most Colorado thing we saw today. A stack of firewood in Gunnison. A next viewer named Kathleen sent us these pictures. The wood is artfully combined with a bicycle, and we like it. We're not sure how the car battery is a part of all of this. Send your most Colorado pictures to next@9news.com or get our attention with the hashtag HeyNext. And a bit of viewer feedback tonight from Brandon Hawks. Random Denver history. Awesome segment. I couldn't agree more. History is our future. And I'll be back here tomorrow again in the future. See you tomorrow.
Subscribe to the Next YouTube channel for the best of Next and some other stuff.